I am giving you the opportunity
You'll
to
be
leave
violating
on
my
your
First
own.
Amendment right.
No,
This
I
is
won't,
a,
sir.
Yes, you will.
No,
This
I
is a
won't.
public building. Yes,
Are you going
will.
to
This
leave
is
the
a
business?
public building. I have not broken
Are
law.
you willing to leave the business,
I
sir?
asked you what law I had broken.
Criminal trespassing.
No.
At this
Prior
point,
to
you are
that, you said
trespassed.
caused a
Are you
ruckus.
going to leave this building, sir?
For what?
For trespassing.
Based on what crime have I committed?
You are committing it right now. I told
This
you
is a
you're trespass.
public-
You need to leave.
There has to be an underlying charge for that. Otherwise,
Sir?
you're going to be violating my First Amendment
No,
rights
I
right
won't
now.
be.
Yes, you
No,
will.
I won't be.
Because you're removing
Are
me
you
because of
going
what
to
you
leave this
consider my
building,
sign
sir?
right here in protesting.
Are you going to leave this
That
building,
you would
sir?
find yourself in a First Amendment lawsuit.
Okay, put your
Faster
hands
than
behind your back, sir.
Hey, they're at capacity, and there's people that are refusing to leave, and they're loitering in the hallway, so they want us to force them to leave. Would you like to come down since it's the... I copy, I'll meet you in the front. Bye. He'll be down here in a second, and we'll get it started for you.
That's fine.
There were a lot of people that weren't wanting to leave when we told them we were at capacity. It's an ACLU rally on government overreach. So I called McLaughlin earlier and I'm like, I think we're going to have a problem later today.
I believe he's still there, so he might make a visit
So
as
my
well.
concern is this gentleman with the sign, this isn't a protest location. So he can't be there.
I do know that
I know
that's
there's
where it's
freedom of speech.
there's that, but there's also the fine line between city ordinances with it being a city building. So that's why I want to make sure that we do everything by
I
the T
understand
with
that.
our supervisor before we start to.
I appreciate the double check. I just, there are
What
people
does
here-
the sign say?
It's something about abortion.
Okay.
I can't.
So not any.
No, but it's the fact that he's here for this rally. If he wants to protest the rally, he can go to the protest spot, which is outside, but we don't have a protest spot inside the building.
Understood.
So,
With it being something like that as well, I know that this is the community center, and usually it's for guests of either special events like this or people that actually have memberships here. It could be something to where we ask. I imagine this gentleman's the
yes, and they can.
coordinator.
They asked him to leave.
Okay.
Actually, he's not. He's just a helper.
Okay.
But the coordinators have asked him to leave,
Okay.
and he's continued to stay.
Okay.
But they're turning anybody that can't get into the room away. So he is no different from the standpoint of all of these people coming in are being told we're at capacity.
Okay.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Hi. I just wanted to touch base with you. There is that protester down there, and it's totally in his rights to do that if you're
But
fine.
not in our building.
It's totally up to you. And he is wanting to be a problem, so I just want you guys to know that he's looking for trouble. So.
We're waiting for a supervisor,
I appreciate
but
that.
there is a protest spot on this campus.
Oh, okay.
But it's not inside the building.
Okay. Okay.
Because this is a public space.
Totally get it.
and, yeah. So, and because we're
Is it this
turning-
gentleman right here?
Because we're turning other people away because we're at capacity,
Yes.
everybody has to go.
Okay.
He's gonna try. Is there somebody guarding that door?
There's a guy here that's protesting and is starting to become a problem. The ACLU people have told him he needs to leave. The community center said that he has to stay outside in the protest zone, and he just walked inside of their thing past some of the coordinators, and he's told them that he wants to make a problem. So
Because they would have got a bigger space.
I imagine we're about to get something to kick up.
Gentleman that didn't register, so
Yes, it's one gentleman with a sign about abortion. It's a taller male with dreads.
I think they let him in.
It's trespass. So the staff doesn't want him necessarily to leave. They just want him out of the building if he's going to be doing a protest and go to the protest spot, which is outside.
I did not get involved because it was their event. And
Correct.
They were telling me.
Okay, perfect.
They were
Because if it's a trespass situation, we might need
yes,
you
I would tell you
to
that.
tell him.
Yes.
Hi, you guys are being requested.
Inside?
Yes, on the first floor.
Is it
We're
the
outside.
Okay. Give me one second. Hold on. I can't.
What's that?
I'm trying. 31 to 4. They just told us to come in. He's starting to get up and bothered. Here, wait a second, John. Just wait.
Yes, I'm just gonna pick it one. Okay.
Here it comes.
Oh, sorry, we're at the best.
For real? Okay, it's okay. No, it's fine. I don't have time. I saw how much traffic there was. Yeah. That's okay. We can go to the library.
Okay, I'll brief you real quick.
I'll come get you after.
What's the reschedule?
He's right around this corner. He's already got his camera up live streaming. He's an auditor as well. And they are blocking him from going inside, and he's still wanting to try to get inside there. And he just turned the camera on both me and John Kay.
They had 2 rooms and they
Excuse me.
Somebody said this is why we lost the election. This is terrible.
He's gonna come over here in a second.
First of all, what's your name?
Officer Allen.
Officer Allen. Who are you with?
Say it
Who are
again.
you with?
Marion Police Department.
Do you have a badge number?
3728.
Awesome. So I don't know why you're over here with me, but
Our
since-
supervisor will address you here in a second.
But since you're over here, I'd like to report their preventing me from going into this.
So this is their event. They're at capacity, which is the first part of it. And
Well, if you would
second,
let me explain what I was going to
No,
say.
I understand. So
No, you
I'm
don't,
just-
because I'm trying to explain it to you.
I understand. Can I say 2
No,
words
because
first?
I'm,
Okay,
in
go
the,
ahead.
I'm in the process of reporting what is called a crime. It's called 215922.
Okay.
They're interfering with my public business by preventing me from going in there. And the reason why is because when I first came here, they said that if I went in there, it would be one person over capacity and they'd have to shut the entire meeting down. I stood right over there and watched as 4 more people went into the room. No problem. That came in after me, and went in there no problem. And I walked over here to go in there because clearly the capacity thing and what you were just saying there, because you were just parroting what they were telling you about capacity, isn't true. And so since it's not true, I have RSVP'd to this meeting.
Okay.
And if they're going to allow people in over capacity like they just did, but then prevent me, they are interfering with my public business, and that's a crime.
Understood. So I'm just, law enforcement is just third party. We get information from both sides. So like I said, our supervisor will be here in a second to address you with what he finds out and things like that, and then we'll move on from there. As of right now, we're just going to stay here and wait until he addresses us. Is that all right?
Well, I'm saying I'm reporting a crime.
I understand. Like I said, once my supervisor gets over here, we'll address that.
What the science is, ready food, people, disabled people, parking, canes and stuff. And the same thing here, I've seen people like paying for the grass, water.
Do you have somebody at that standing at the middle door? Okay. Stopping his like public right to protest or something like that, which I was going to explain to him. You're in a city building. I know, and that's why I stopped. But they're at capacity, which is the truth. And if they go over to capacity, they have to shut down the event. which is true. They have a designated protest zone, which he's been informed of. So now it's just because he's a Second Amendment auditor, or not Second Amendment, but an auditor, he's trying to get a rise. Yeah. So that's why I just went back and said, we'll get there once our supervisor. That's our guy, the one that you walked by with the sign. So they're at capacity, which means that nobody can go in there. They also, the ACLU members, have told him that they don't want him in there because he's trying to protest after the fact of them being at capacity. Community Center told him that if he's going to sit here and protest like he's trying to do, he needs to be outside in the designated protesting zone. He is also an auditor, so he's now throwing statute codes and stuff like that. He was doing that with me earlier, and he's now saying that he wants to report a crime, so I told him to stand by while I wait for my supervisor that will come over here and address the situation with him. So Sergeant Simmons is over there talking to someone, and we'll be over here momentarily.
So I'm assuming these are all the representatives of the
Yes,
meeting.
she specifically came and addressed it with us two when we got here that they don't want him in there, and they told him that.
Okay.
I don't know if the community center told you, but they told us that they would come up here and address it with him, that they don't want him in here.
She's already told me that he needs to be trespassed.
Okay.
So
He's already throwing around statutes and stuff like that. He's
That's fine.
wanting to report a crime for them blocking him from gaining access. So
we're not
I told him we'd address it once you got here.
what's his name? Do you know?
Nope.
Okay. Hello there. I'm Sergeant Simmons with the Manchester Police Department. Would you mind going over and talking with me over at the front doors? Well, staff has requested you be trespassed from the building for one because you were causing a ruckus.
Causing a ruckus?
Yep, and it's a private. Listen to me
crime
for a
is that?
second, please. It is a private business. They have the right to trespass anyone that they see fit, and they don't have to give a reason.
You're
Okay?
telling me this city community center is a private business?
It is a private business. You have to pay to come into this place.
Oh, really?
Yes, you do.
So that makes it a private business? This is a city public building. What are you talking about?
You are being trespassed from the business.
What'll happen if I don't pay?
You're going to be arrested
For what?
for trespassing, sir.
What crime have I broken to be trespassed from this
If I
public
tell
building?
you that you are trespassed as a representative of the building, and then you do not follow, you asked me a question, so let me finish. If I tell you that you're trespassed at the request of the business and you refuse to leave, then it is criminal trespassing in the state of Kansas, and that is an arrestable offense. So here is my solution for you, okay? Because I want to give you options. Good police officer gives people options. There is a protesting spot out on the sidewalk outside of the building. You've got a sign up there.
The sign that's in the message.
Okay, I am giving you the opportunity
You'll
to
be
leave
violating
on
my
your
First
own.
Amendment right.
No,
Just
I
say-
won't,
yes,
sir.
you will.
No, I
Say
won't.
public building. Yes.
Are you going
will.
to
This
leave
is
the
a public
business?
building. I have not broken
Are
a law.
you willing to leave the business,
I
sir?
asked you what law I had broken.
Criminal trespassing.
No.
At this
Prior
point,
to
you are
that, you said
trespassed.
caused a
Are you
ruckus.
going to leave this building, sir?
For what?
For trespassing.
Based on what crime have I committed?
You are committing it right now. I told
Is
you you're
there
trespassed. You
public-
need to leave.
There has to be an underlying charge for that. Otherwise,
Sir?
you're going to be violating my First Amendment
No,
rights
I
right
won't
now.
be.
Yes, you
No,
will.
I won't be.
Because you're removing
Are
me
you
because of
going
what
to
you
leave this
consider my
building,
sign
sir?
right here in protesting.
Are you going to leave this
That would,
building,
you would
sir?
find yourself in a First Amendment lawsuit.
Okay, put your
Faster
hands
than
behind
you
your back, sir.
Stop.
Do not.
Nope, stop.
Do
Take my
not.
phone.
I'm giving it to her. I'm grabbing your hand.
Yes, please. All that way. You are under arrest for criminal trespassing, sir.
Your phone recording?
Keep it
You can lock that
recording.
for me.
We're recording everything too, okay? Trying to be reasonable. Reasonable is not working, so you kind of forced our hand, buddy.
You want to